Hello, my people. It don't set.
Another country has declared war on Israel. A lot of people don't know what is going on right now. Almost all the tough countries in the world are warming up for war. We are just praying that it should not turn to world war.
Another country has officially declared war
Share
on
this
Israel,
video, let
and a
people know
major
what is
attack
going
has
on.
taken place. The United States announced that it had met the first attack. This attack mobilized Israeli warplanes. Dozens of fighter jets were mobilized. The first time such a large number had been mobilized since the first day of the war. At least 40 fighter jets spotted the spot where the order to attack was given. The target is the Gaza Strip. With the outbreak of tensions, activity was detected over Lebanon, and Lebanon became the second target after Gaza. One of the most critical news came from Germany. German special forces said that Germans were still in the Hamas area. The special forces officially announced their mobilization to Palestine. The most important events of the last days took place today. Let's move on to our video without wasting time. First of all, in the early hours of the morning, the intelligence service of the Israeli forces announced that the location of a senior Hamas terrorist organization official had been identified. Senior Hamas officials are communicating with terrorist organizations in different countries and coordinating a massive attack on Israel. You will understand the reason for this explanation very well in the following part of the video. The location of the senior official was detected, but the meeting between the leaders of the terrorist organization ended, and the first step of the attack on Israel began. Intelligence reports and coordinates were shared with Israeli pilots. Within a very short time, dozens of Israeli warplanes were spotted flying over the Gaza Strip. After the first sortie was completed and the targets were identified, the sequential or massive air attack officially began. Israeli warplanes carried out numerous strikes on gathering areas, Hamas tunnels, missile launching pads, intelligence centers, and command centers where senior terrorist officials were located. The warplanes also destroyed hundreds of mortar launching points from which Hamas attacks Israeli tanks. Most of the strikes were carried out in the Sujayai area. In addition, while the airstrikes continued, critical news came from Israeli intelligence. As a result of the attack by Israeli warplanes, it was reported that Rafat Harb Hussein, the head of the Hamas military branch in the Rafah region, was also neutralized. Shortly afterwards, U.S. intelligence also confirmed the neutralization of senior officials. While the Hamas terrorist organization suffered heavy losses in the Gaza Strip, Hezbollah members carried out mortar attacks near the Metla area on the Lebanese border. The Hezbollah organization tried to draw the attention of the Israeli army to the north and to reduce the pressure on Hamas. In this process, Israeli tanks moving towards the Metula region were deployed to safe points. Israeli unmanned aerial vehicles took action to detect the points where the attack was organized. Unmanned aerial vehicles detected that the attack was carried out from Hezbollah outposts near Metula. The locations of the outposts were sent to the Israeli tank unit. Within a short time, a heavy attack on Hezbollah outposts began. Israeli tanks destroyed the two outposts where the attack was organized by launching a comprehensive attack. With the destruction of the outposts, members of the Hezbollah terrorist organization attacked from the Hardov point. A group of 15 people opened fire on Israeli forces on the borderline. With the attack of Hezbollah, Israeli forces began to counterattack the borderline, and it was observed that Hezbollah members began to flee. The members of the terrorist organization continued to flee to the Lebanese border, but two Israeli drones detected the location of the group members about 15 minutes later, and the attack began. As a result of the attack, 11 members of the 15-member group were neutralized and 4 people were wounded. In the midst of the fiercest fighting in recent times, the big news came from the United States warship. Because Hamas and Hezbollah have lost so many lives, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, senior terror officials have held many meetings with the leaders of other groups. In the meantime, the Iranian-backed Houthi terrorist group in Yemen fired a large number of missiles and dozens of drone attacks on Israel from Yemen. The United States warship realized that the missiles were fired from Yemen, moving northwards through the Red Sea and approaching Israel. All of the missiles and drones were destroyed in the air by the United States Navy. The news that the attack had been called off was given by Pentagon spokesman Patrick Ryder. Ryder, senior Israeli and U.S. officials held an emergency meeting about the attack from Yemen. He said that strict measures will be taken against attacks by terrorist organizations and that attacks will be deterred. After the statements made, I think that airstrikes will be carried out in Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon, where terrorist organizations are deployed. However, after the statements made, it has become quite clear to me that the biggest attack will be on Iran. We know that the attacks on Israeli territory are organized by terrorist organizations such as Hezbollah, Hamas, and Houthi. In addition, many terrorist organizations have announced their support for the Hamas organization. What these terrorist organizations have in common is that they are all supported by Iran. For this reason, I think that Israel will target Iranian points with a larger operation than ever before. There is no official statement in this process, but as I mentioned, I can say that the statements made indirectly target Iran. The last and most important news came from Germany. It has been determined that Germany has placed special forces very close to Israel. We know that there were Germans in Palestine during this period, and Hamas banned the exits. German security forces stated that KZSK special operations units and specially trained soldiers from the GSG-9 unit were deployed to Cyprus. After these announcements, a great mobilization started to take place in Cyprus. In this process, it has become certain that ISIS-affiliated terrorist groups in the north of Israel have launched an attack. The ISIS terrorist organization attacked with a large number of missiles to destroy Israeli gas towers in the Mediterranean Sea. Near these gas towers are 2 aircraft carriers of the United States. The missiles launched by ISIS were destroyed by Israeli air defense systems. Reports say that the gas towers were targeted, but the U.S. aircraft carriers, as I mentioned, are located near the gas towers. Several sources claimed that U.S. aircraft carriers were targeted in the process. No official statement has been made, and I will inform you again when an official statement is made. On the other hand, there is no way these missiles can hit aircraft carriers deployed in the region. Aircraft carriers are equipped with many advanced radars and dozens of air defense systems. In this process, I can say that it does not seem possible for the ISIS terrorist organization to destroy the gas towers or aircraft carriers in the region. Last-minute reports on the most critical day of the last days continue to come. As the tension in the region increased with each passing hour, the Israeli Air Force put terrorist organizations under great pressure from the air. Senior officials of Hamas were the target of airstrikes in the process. These attacks will create major problems for Iran-backed groups. With the increase in the intensity of the operations, ISIS and Houthi terrorist organizations also declared war on Israel. While the first attack came from the Houthis, the United States warships stopped the attacks. The cessation of these attacks caused Israeli warplanes to take action. The second attack was organized by the ISIS terrorist organization, but it was not successful. The Iron Dome stopped all attacks on gas towers or aircraft carriers. We will see what will happen in the coming days. We have come to the end of another video. You can like the video to support us. I wish you all a happy day. See you soon.
Let us know what you think concerning the war that is going on right now. Guys, put your comment below, like this video and share this video. Let people know what is going on. Who they